hope you guys got a longer water break than I did because we are back for finals. I'm super pumped after that last round. So it is nice to be back with all of you. Got a couple of things before we head back into our final match. Just want to do a couple quick shout outs of thanks to Cycle Turtle Play. Oop, just kidding. But just Cycle Turtle Play, Pow Gaming, and of course Miguel Campos of Pokemon Labs. Because, oh wow, because apparently though we are going straight into the match. Didn't even get a chance to go through the team sheets. We've got Fluttermane and Iron Hands versus Iron Hands and Grimmsnarl here. So Enrique bringing out a lot of great setup here.
Yeah, also, if you don't know, I am Jesus, this is Regina. We're in grand finals of the challenge number 10. This is the first time Gavin is on stream. This is like the third time Enrique's been on the stream, so we know Enrique's team on the bottom of our hearts, but we have yet to see Gavin do this, and we already see the Fluttermane with the booster energy to boot.
Yeah, I don't think we really need Gavin. Michaels is a man who needs no introductions. I guess one of his accolades could be that he's our recent OCIC champion, and he decided to grace us with his presence. Now that CP is back on the line, again, our first championship point for SoCal, 30 points to whoever wins this here. Just moves locking in here. We are going to see a Terrastalize here from Enrique. So Enrique going straight for that Grimmsnarl, actually going for the Ghost Terrastalize.
So avoid the fake out there.
Yeah, so Grimmsnarl saying, hey, I've got that prankster ability, but I still want to make sure that I can set up all of my screens as Iron Hands.
Wow.
Iron Hands versus Iron Hands here. Gavin's Iron Hands able to go for the fake out into Enrique's as taunt from the Grimmsnarl going into that Fluttermane. But Fluttermane saying, hey, you know what? Doesn't matter to me. He's going to land a double Dazzling Gleam here into that Iron Hands and that Grimmsnarl, able to get Iron Hands down immediately to half health on turn 1.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the taunt come out into the Fluttermane, because if we see some tricky things from Fluttermane. You know, we sometimes see them with taunt, we sometimes see them with substitute, but more importantly, it avoids protect. But this might not be a good time to have being been taunted as we see Enrique switch out the Iron Hands out into the Dondozo.
Yeah, Enrique's Iron Hands says, I don't want to catch those hands anymore as Dondozo comes back out to play. We saw how frustrating it might have been to play against that. Grimmsnarl doing what it does best as it sets up Light Screen on this turn. Fluttermane going for that Dazzling Game again, but Light Screen going to just negate that damage a little bit as Iron Hands misses that knockout on that Grimmsnarl. Takes some damage onto itself here for its troubles, but that Grimmsnarl is like saying, hey, you know what? I don't need Reflect to survive that wild charge.
I mean, now it's pretty much a simple turn for Enrique, in my opinion, because you could just set up Reflect with the Grimmsnarl if you haven't. I mean, Light Screen came first, right? I just want to make sure I get that correct.
Yeah, Light Screen did get
okay,
set up
so
right
then,
now.
then the Grimmsnarl can set up Reflect. If we see Enrique have Tatsugiri in the back, that's an ideal situation for him, and as long as he protects the Dondozo. But no, we're actually seeing the Grimmsnarl swap out instead.
Yeah, Grimmsnarl is saying, I lived with 1 HP.
Oh, I was right about the Tatsugiri.
Yep, gonna switch out. Tatsugiri gonna be here on the field, and now we are going to have the Commander ability. You know it, you love it, you might hate it, but whatever you feel about it, it is back right here on the field. Dondozo gonna be able to get that +2 to all of its stats as Tatsugiri hops into that mouth and says, all right, it's time to beef you up.
At least the boost are not to accuracy and to evasion, too. That would have been even more devastating if we said +2 all stats.
If they said, hey, you want to see something broken, even more broken? But Gavin taking this time now for that Iron Hands to go for that Terrastalize into grass, actually. So Iron Hands saying, all right, you know what? I know you can Earthquake. I'm not going to worry about that because grass Terrastalization just gets rid of that. But Substitute instead here from Enrique. Going to sacrifice some of that HP to set up a Substitute to take some of those hits that is going to get. As Fluttermane goes for that Shadow Ball, is going to just knock right into that Substitute.
Critical hit.
Critical hit is going to be able to knock out that Substitute just from the get-go. I was going to say, hey, I don't care that you have a Substitute. It's going away right now.
Do we see a Wild Charge? We do see a Wild Charge.
So Wild Charge here going to connect as well. He's not able to pick up that knockout again, thanks to the fact that it did get all those boosts from that Tatsugiri earlier on. And Donzo saying, all right, well, I sacrificed a lot of HP. I lost some, and I'm out of the red now just a little bit thanks to that leftovers. And Fluttermane able to shake off that taunt, but not really as important as it's been just, you know, able to at least get a lot of damage with that taunt.
Yeah, now that we further realize that booster energy is for a special attack multiplier for that Fluttermane, based on the way it's trained. I mean, the crit may have mattered to breaking the substitute, but I don't think it mattered completely. We are going to see Dondozo, however, go for the Earthquake. Should do decent damage to the Fluttermane, and not even half.
Yeah, both of those Pokemon eat that right up as Iron Hands goes for the Drain Punch, is able to get it down into the red. Iron Hands able to take back some of the HP, as Fluttermane now is able to at least go for that Trick Room, said, hey, you boosted that speed and that taunt got taken off of me. Now it's time to slow things down just a little bit.
Yeah, I was about about to notice something about that Flutter Move because it went before the Iron Hands, and I'm like, wait, it's going negative priority. Oh wait, it's Trick Room.
Yeah.
He got taunted out immediately. I guess that was the fear from Enrique earlier in turn 1.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at Gavin's team, right, which we didn't really get a chance to explain to you guys, it is a very slow team, right? So Trick Room, just one of the best modes for Gavin's team, has Iron Hands because of that. Trick Room able to go first, pick up that knockout on Dondozo, and Tatsugiri is going to be ripe for an attack here from that Flutter Mane. It is going to be in a little bit of trouble because it no longer has that partner there, as Dazzling Gleam is able to get that knockout. That critical hit, not sure if it really quite matters because it is a single target with a super effective move onto that Tatsugiri, leaving Enrique with his last 2 Pokemon in one fell swoop.
Yeah, we see a low HP Grimmsnarl and an Iron Hands coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, they're both relatively low HP.
Yeah, that Iron Hands, like from earlier, you know, was able to just get a lot of damage from that Dazzling Gleam, and Grimmsnarl, we know, was on its last legs right before it got switched out for that Tatsugiri.
I mean, this is good and bad news. Good news is Flutter Mane's going to be moving last. Bad news is whose Iron Hands is slower.
We did see Gavin's go first last time, so there's potential that it could be faster, or right now it might just be a speed type, but Flutter Mane actually going for a protect on this turn is like, hey, I don't really have to worry about that stuff right now. I've got Trick Room to do this. As Reflect finally from that Grimmsnarl was able to set up that Light Screen earlier on, is following that up with a secondary light here, as Drain Punch actually instead is going to go down into that Iron Hand spot on Gavin's, is going to get back some of the HP that it lost to a Dazzling Gleam in that first turn, as Iron Hands on Gavin's side actually goes for a Volt Switch, picks up the easy knockout here on Grimmsnarl, and is able to pivot into a different Pokemon that will probably make a lot of use of this Trick Room, or if it's that Azumarill, it might just, well, you know, just go for like, hey, I can just go Aqua Jet all day, but at least we are finally able to see. Oh no, so it's a Mungus and just Pelipper that Gavin has in the back.
Yeah, there's just beneficial for the Trick Room here, because now a Mungus can set a Spore off. I think this is just checkmate right now for Gavin.
Yeah, I appreciate that Enrique said, hey, we need to taunt this Flutter Mane because it's a lot of trouble. We thought that Dondozo match was going to be slow, and Gavin was like, no, it's quick, as Trick Room, even though it slows things down, will speed up this potential grand finals into a cool, maybe a quick 2-0, because I mean, game 2, right, what are you going to do if like he leads the same thing and you don't stop that Flutter Mane again? Like, that's your priority at this point.
And actually, I want to go back to one of the turns that Grimmsnarl, I'm pretty sure it was the turn Grimmsnarl got cut to that very low HP count where it switched out. I was actually surprised that the Grimmsnarl did not go for a Reflect sacrificial play to get that Tatsugiri in for free and then protect the Dondozo in the same time, because you wouldn't have risked that much damage with the Wild Charge and you get the Reflect off for free and then you get Tatsugiri in with the boosts. I'm a little surprised that Enrique didn't go for that play. And Gavin walks in his team in, what was that, 9 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, hey, if it's not broke, you don't have to fix it, right? I mean, we saw how just great that sort of that Iron Hands and that Flutter Mane combination was together. Just Flutter Mane saying, all right, well, if you're going to try
Oh my god, both these players locked in 23 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Gavin, you're just being like, okay, hey, it worked really well. If you let me set up Trick Room, you're in trouble. If I don't set up Trick Room, you're still in trouble. So really able to just take command of like both modes there. But like you had pointed out, right, that booster energy boosting up that special attack instead. So you just got to watch out for that here, as Glamora and Dondozo. So a little bit of a change here from Enrique. Probably seen that Grimmsnarl was like, nice, but not as great as it could have been here, as we see the same lead here from Gavin is going to be that Flutter Mane and that Iron Hands.
Yeah, well, then we see the special attack booster multiplier for that Flutter Mane, but also something to note for this Glamora. I'm pretty sure everybody knows this by now, but it's actually Corrosion, which actually is a very interesting tech because it actually poisons other poison types and even steel types for that matter, but I don't know, Toxic Spikes is actually looking pretty nice right now, if I were to be perfectly honest in my opinion, but what do we know?
I mean, if you're thinking of the poison rate, right, then if you're Gavin, you just are on a shorter timer than you might have been before here, and I think you can probably recognize that Glamora might be the problem here on the field, because the Dondozo you could take care of pretty easily, as Iron Hands is going to go once again for that terrestrialization, is going to be that grass type, so don't really have to worry about Earthquake, but you will have to worry about a Sludge Bomb possibly from that Glamora, as Spiky Shield actually is going to be the move of choice here for Enrique's Glamora. Is going to protect itself and punish anybody who tries to get into it. Double protect from Enrique, so 1, burn out the fake out turn, and then 2, just kind of try to bait to see what Gavin might do here.
If this is Trick Room for Gavin, this might be backfiring.
Yeah, so Glamora protecting itself here. That Spiky Shield is going to at least hurt down that Iron Hands just a little bit, but Flutter Mane able to go for the Shadow Ball, doubling down into that Glamora, so at least Enrique can see, hey, Gavin is scared of this Glamora, so you have to be like cognizant of that now.
That seems like prime Tatsugiri bait right now because it does a good double target onto the Glimora, knowing that first of all, it's not toxic debris, but second of all, oh, the Dozo switches.
Yeah, so Dozo actually switching out here, saying, I don't like this playground, we're gonna get out. Oh, Rotom making an appearance here. That Rotom heat saying, all right, it's my turn to play.
And it is a Glimora terrestrialization.
So Glimora gonna go for that grass terrestrialization. So we've got grass versus grass. Terra back on the field as Rotom Heat is gonna be like, hey, you guys hear grass type? Oh man. Heat Wave's gonna be such a great time for me here. Actually, over here, as Fluttermane goes for a Dazzling Gleam, connects with both Pokemon, does very little damage to either one of them, as Mortal Spin is able to connect, doesn't do much damage to either one of them, but more importantly, is able to poison both Pokemon, putting Gavin on a pretty interesting timer now.
It is interesting as well. I think, are we going to see, oh no, we see the Wild Charge go into the Rotom slot. I was thinking about if Enrique was actually eyeing a fighting type attack into the Glimora slot, which is why he's rationalizing into the grass type in the first place to avoid the weakness to turn back to the neutral. But, you know, I guess if you had any opportunity to try to take out Dondozo, I guess that was your time.
Yeah, so Gavin gonna have to worry now about both of these Pokemon being on a poison type, on a poison timer, as Fluttermane's probably, it looks like it's gonna be staying in and trying its best to knock things out before it gets knocked out by itself. But honestly, like Glimora just doing what it does best for Enrique, and that's poisoning everything that it sees. As Iron Hands actually getting switched out here is going to bring in the rain with Pelipper. Pelipper, you know, everyone's favorite bird now that it has Drizzle here, is going to at least negate some of the damage from that Rotom. A Shadow Ball from Fluttermane, able to connect down to that Rotom. Not able to pick up that knockout. You can see Gavin's reaction there, knowing that that knockout would have been great. Here's Rotom able to not like chomp down to that Wiki Berry, get back some of that energy, but Overheat negated thanks to that rain, and that Rotom, for its troubles, is going to take down 2 special attack stages. Sludge Bomb from that Glimora going to round out this turn, hitting into that Fluttermane, not able to quite knock it out, but that poison counter, the most important thing that you're going to have to keep an eye out on.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised the Glimora went for, the Rotom go for the Overheat and the Fluttermane spot, as we see Glimora go for a Spiky Shield, doesn't want to take any damage from that Hurricane. But that Rotom probably was eyeing down the Overheat into the Iron Hand slot, but instead it's going to take a shot off for his troubles and be knocked out. Yeah,
so Rotom going down on this turn, as Fluttermane's still able to hang on even with all that poison that damage has been taking. As Pelipper is going to get that Hurricane into that Spiky Shield, is going to take damage for itself as opposed to the...
it's not contact.
Yeah, my bad. But Fluttermane, you know, still hanging on past that poisoning. More importantly, because of the fact that Hurricane's not a contact move, that Focus Sash is still intact. And Dondozo coming back at full health, making its reappearance.
I have to wonder now if this is a turn Glimora swaps, because Fluttermane's going down this turn. Are we seeing Trick Room from Gavin?
Yeah, we did see that Fluttermane just straight up blocking Trick Room. He went ham at a Hurricane, and you know what? It's fine, because if you set up your Tatsugiri Dondozo, that doesn't matter to me, because Trick Room's going to be out here to play. And Gavin's saying, if you don't, then I get knocked through Glimora. So either way, really, Gavin's just in a fantastic spot, as Tatsugiri's Commander ability is going to activate here. So Dondozo does get all of those pluses to all of its stats. And Gavin's like, yeah, okay, I don't connect Hurricane, but now we're going to have Trick Room set up.
And the thing is, I think Gavin's fine sacrificing the Fluttermane here to the poison damage, because we do know, as the Iron Hands is in the back, order up not enough to knock out the Pelipper. So I think we saw Hurricane go into what was the Tatsugiri.
Yes, what was that Glimora spot earlier?
Yeah, and then now we see the Trick Room come in, Fluttermane goes down, it's to free swap the Iron Hands, or maybe a Azumarill in the back, but I think we saw a Mungus in the screen earlier.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, that's not a bad turn for Gavin, right? Like, either way, he really wasn't in a spot that was hurting him. If Glimora doesn't switch out, he gets damage onto it with Hurricane, and if it does switch out like it did, then you get that free Trick Room basically set up, and like that free switch in. So a Mungus actually coming into play in place of that fallen Fluttermane.
And this is big trouble for Enrique, because he does not have speed advantage to get the substitute up before that Spore comes in. So this is likely going to be Spore Hurricane, and we might be getting a lot of stats conditions coming in soon. Confusion and Sleep.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I think this is a fantastic
the Clear Smog's actually smart.
But Protect here from that Pelipper, gonna make sure that, hey, just in case, because I'm not sporing this turn, not gonna have to worry about Clear Smog, one of those favorite moves from Amoonguss, is gonna eliminate all those stat changes that Tatsugiri did its best to try and give, and order up connecting into that protected spot for Pelipper. So Pelipper living to see another day, and more importantly, none of these Pokemon were poisoned earlier from Glimora. So Dondozo does get some of that health back, but it's been negated so much now by that Clear Smog.
Yeah, now Hurricane's going to do maximum damage now that those 2 boosts from the commander ability is gone. And now we're just in the point where Enrique might just... I think the writings is on the wall at this point. The Trick Room definitely swung the momentum in Gavin's favor.
Yeah, and it's kind of wild because it's like, you know, a lot of Gavin's moves are just, there's not really a downside to a lot of them. So Dodonzo is going to protect itself on this turn, going to like at least burn 1 more turn of Trick Room. Spore going into that Dondozo spot, just Spore trying to put that Dondozo to sleep. Hurricane just going to try to connect. Enrique just kind of really on the back pedal here because there is no way for him to switch out either of these Pokemon. The rain is stopping, at least you don't have to worry about her, so you can worry less about Hurricane, but more importantly, you still at least have to worry about like that Trick Room turn. I think it's supposed to expire next turn.
Yeah, so Enrique, I mean, first of all, you are stuck in the Dondozo, so maybe a double protect is worth the risk, but at the same time, if you think you could, if there's 2 turns left to trigger, it may not be worth it. As we're going to see Pelipper swapping the Iron Hands, definitely wants to reset the Hurricane to perfect accuracy for later.
Yeah, at least you also have Fake Out Pressure here with the Iron Hands now up on the field for next turn. So Amoonguss is able to at least land the Spore here on this Dondozo, so Dondozo going to go to sleep, not going for that potential second protect. So Dondozo going to have to take that necessary sleep turn on this turn, so has the potential for a wake up next turn. Iron Hand's gonna take down some more damage from that poison, and this is going to be this is gonna be the last Trick Room that I'm guessing. As Dondozo gonna have to take a lot of damage. Yeah, I did see briefly that 1 out of 5 in that one instance that we saw the status screen on Gavin's side.
Pollen Puff goes into the Iron Hands, doesn't want to do much damage to poison damage. Now we know that it's doing 30 damage every time. There's a Wild Charge coming in. How much damage is it doing at neutral?
That is a lot of damage still into that Dondozo spot. Still going to stay asleep on this turn. But more importantly, Gavin is able to get back a lot of that health with Pollen Puff, and it should be able to just knock out that Dondozo next turn, because now that that Pollen Puff has connected with the Iron Hands, doesn't have to worry as much anymore about that poison from earlier. So really, even with, actually, you know what? If Dondozo wakes up, even if Dondozo wakes up here,
it's not doing enough damage.
Yeah, it's still not going to be able to do enough to like anything on Gavin's side of the field, especially with like the Grass Terra on that Iron Hands.
That Clear Smog earlier was just so detrimental, because now you don't have the pressure that Order Up has at +2, because now you got to manually set it up.
Yep.
You do see the wake up, but Order Up not going to do enough damage to Iron Hands. You know, look at that. It's like around 40.
Yeah, I mean, now you're just like ordering up a win here for Gavin as Volt Switch from that Iron Hands. Not enough to pick up the knockout here on Dondozo, but is allowing Gavin to pivot again into that Pelipper, bringing back that Rain. The Sash obviously has been broken from earlier before, but Pelipper at least going to have like that guaranteed Hurricane hit, because now you're going to have to worry about both the Tatsugiri and the Glamora that are still there once the Dondozo goes down. And Pollen Puff from Amoonguss able to heal back up this Pelipper. If it manages to get it back up to 136 at some point, that Focus Sash is back in play, wildly enough, right? So you're kind of in this really weird spot where, yeah, you've got like 2 Pokemon on your side of the field, but Gavin's just absolutely in the driver's seat and he's clearing Accelerate even after slowing the game down with Trick Room.
Yeah, we're gonna see a Hurricane come out, and yeah, that's what I was thinking in my head. You know, maybe just Hurricane Spore. Yeah. Make sure you get rid of the Dondozo. We do know this Tatsugiri is not Sleep Talk.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing too, though, right? Because like Hurricane in the rain is always just gonna hit there, and so the stats are gonna go to sleep on the turn that it leaves Dondozo's mouth, and now we just have this Glamora and this Tatsugiri. I just, you know.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, I know. He should sell it right now. So it's fine, yeah. Now
speaking of selling, I think this might be a sellout right now for Gavin, as he's already in a very commanding position. Glamora forces Spiky Shield. The Tatsugiri still has yet to take a turn of sleep.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm just saying, hey, like, just in case stuff happens, like, why not just Rage Powder here, right? That's, like, really your safest bet right now. Tatsugiri staying asleep on this turn for that necessary sleep turn, as now that Pelipper is just like, yeah, cool, I'll go for the Hurricane, and even if it hits, yeah, like, that Spiky Shield, like, that's not really that big of a deal for Gavin. He's got so many tools now just to deal with these last 2 Pokemon, so...
Enrique needs a lot of luck to go his way, as he's already gotten a lot of luck to go in his favor before to get this far, but will it happen again? He needs a wake up, he needs to live a Hurricane somehow, which I doubt he'll do, but if Tatsugiri can somehow pull off this miracle, it's going to be crazy to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, Gavin is just kind of really showing, like, hey, exactly why he was able to win OCIC. Is Gilmore going for a second spiky shield here. It is going to fail in this turn, so that Hurricane... so Rage Patter here from Moongus gonna just draw the attention to itself just in case. But Pelipper just saying, hey, stuff. Yeah, well, I mean, hey, if that... Oh, as I say, if Muddy Water had been able to connect and get the accuracy drops, maybe. But it's actually going to take this time to go for a nasty plot instead. And Pelipper saying, hey, Hurricane connects in the rain. Gamora's going to go down. And this Tatsugiri versus what? This Pelipper, Amoongus, and the Iron Hands in the back. Like, honestly, it's just a lot to ask of this tiny little, like, fish sushi thing.
Yeah, I actually don't think +2 Draco Meteor is enough to knock out the Amoongus cycle, even if everything were to go right. And even if it does, we have Wide Guard for the Muddy Water, and this thing is lacking offensive pressure. Muddy Water comes out with no Wide Guard. Does knock at the Pelipper, but Amoongus did not take an accuracy drop.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like one of those, like, oh, okay, cool. Like, it's still just kind of rough because, hey, you connected, you knocked something out, but Spore's going to put you to sleep. And Iron Hands can just easily help clean this up, right? So you just... That's cool. You knock down into it. You can Pollen Puff and just make sure that your Iron Hand stays around for a couple more turns, and you can just double down into that Tatsugiri. Like, either way, you're still asking a lot from this Tatsugiri that's asleep. Like, sure, it's at full health, but I mean, what are you going to do at this point for it?
Yeah, there's not much we could do. We keep already seeing Gavin win 30 championship points on route to his domination right now of 2023. Tatsugiri takes another turn of sleep. Iron Hands with the Drain Punch does 75% health.
So much damage. Iron Hands needs to calm down. Yeah, it's able to almost get back up to full health with that as Amoongus is like, oh, clear smart, I got you. And not able to pick up quite the knockout, but it still doesn't really matter because, like, honestly at this point, unless like the Tatsugiri is able to, like, what, get a billion like accuracy drops and it wakes up this turn, like, you're not really seeing
and
much.
There's the battle canceled. Gavin Michaels.
Yeah, you know what? I will say, Enrique, you maybe could have gotten like a billion accuracy drops and still gotten it. Who knows? But yeah, Gavin able to win this PC 2-0. Like, adding on to his considerable amount of championship points. Like, good for you, Gavin. 30 more points to your, I don't know, what do you got, like 900 or something? I don't know. I have not looked at the CP boards in a while.
He's trying to be the best NA player right now, right next to Paul Chua.
I mean, like, just... Congratulations to you.
If there's anybody that's having a good breakout season, I mean, for here at least, it's definitely Gavin Michaels. Like, who had him near the top of the leaderboards into this season?
I wouldn't call it a breakout season if he's been playing for a really long time. But I mean, either way, hey, 30 points is more. It's 30 points more to your CP. So that's technically it for today. But we've got a long list of things to take care of right now. So first off, again, thank you to Pow Gaming, thank you to Psycho Turtle Play, and thank you to our lovely Miguel Campos of Pokemon Labs for helping us host for today. I cannot express how much I love that championship point events are back. And you know what? We are going to host another one in 2 weeks on May 28th. Super excited for that one because it's another chance for everyone else to get their points. I know there's a lot of people in SoCal who are very close to cinching their invite, and having these locals back is a great way to do that. So if you do want to join that, just keep an eye out on all social media for either Pow Gaming or Psycho Turtle. We will be posting our registration links on there. They are just, you know, the best way to just make sure that you get your spot ahead of time. We had 32 people for today, so we're hoping to bump up those numbers and just sort of max out our capacity. And if those PCs aren't enough for you, we're going to copy Ohio. We're going to have a double header in June. So the 17th and 18th, we will be having 2 PCs. We're coming for most PCs, Ohio. You better watch your back. Just kidding. There's no way we compete with you guys. Look, it's time to bring back that old joke of if you fly over Ohio, you're guaranteed CP. So honestly, it's just a great time to be back for there. But hey, if Pokemon's not the only game you play and you love playing Super Smash Brothers, we do have Wild Smash Wednesdays. Unfortunately, the ones that we do host on Saturdays will be canceled for the next 2 weeks. But you're always welcome to come by Wednesday nights, get a little bit of those games in, show everyone why Kirby is the best character. Don't at me. Kirby is the best.
I'm sorry, no. Justice and Jason are currently dominating the Smash scenes over here at Psycho Turtle. You know, it's crazy to think that Kirby's anti-hero Meta Knight is doing better.
Kirby's the best. Kirby's the best, but I'm also the type of Smash player who I down B Pikachu. You can hate me all you want for that. I'll just Thunderbolt you to, I don't know, out of existence.
Thunder.
So, yeah. I mean, but thank you guys for joining us. Again, there's still time on the East Coast to give your mother figure a ring and say, hey, Mom, I appreciate you. Just like we appreciate you guys for watching here with us. But again, lots of events. Just keep up with us on social media, and hopefully you won't miss anything from there. So have a good night, everyone.